At this point in time, we've all seen dozens of videos of people reported to have been experiencing a fentanyl overdose simply from it touching the skin. And this has been debunked repeatedly, both on a case-by-case basis and as a theory. Fentanyl can't pass through the skin like this. The skin structure and the pharmacokinetics of fentanyl simply won't allow it. And this is what is repeated every time this concept is proposed. Fentanyl can't pass through the skin like this. It is simply not possible. But have you ever wanted to have a better understanding of why? Why isn't this possible? I mean, people who are experts, people we can trust, keep telling us this isn't possible, but why? In order for something to be able to enter your circulation transdermally or through the skin, 3 conditions must be present. Number 1, there needs to be a suitable concentration gradient. Number 2, the molecular weight cannot exceed 500 Daltons. And number 3, it must be lipid or fat soluble. And if you're wondering what that means that a chemical or molecule must be able to pass into and through lipids or fats. Let's address condition number 1. If more fentanyl exists outside of your skin than inside of your skin, then a favorable concentration gradient is met. Condition number 2, fentanyl in its pharmaceutical form is 528 Daltons. So maybe just a little bit too big to pass through the skin. But when fentanyl is in its non-pharmaceutical form, without the added citrate, it can be as low as 336 Daltons. So technically, this condition is met. And number 3, fentanyl is fat soluble. So this condition is met. So what gives? It sounds like if you get fentanyl on your skin, it'll pass right through. The issue is that even though fentanyl is fat soluble, it must be in a specific formulation to allow it to interact with those lipids. Your outer skin layer is made up of dead cells called corneocytes, and those corneocytes are held together by layers of intercellular lipids. So it's like brick and mortar, with the intercellular lipids being the mortar. The only way that the fentanyl can pass through that mortar is to dissolve the fentanyl in a carrier that can make that mortar permeable enough to allow the fentanyl to pass through. And that carrier must be an alcohol-based carrier like ethanol or propylene glycol or isopropyl myristate. And if you're thinking that fentanyl can pass through sweat pores, fentanyl is not soluble in sweat to any meaningful degree. And even if fentanyl dissolved in moisture that may be present on skin, I held back on another condition that must be present, and that is occlusion. There must be something blocking ventilation to where that fentanyl is touching your skin. Otherwise, it will evaporate instead of absorbing. This is why a fentanyl patch is the only way to facilitate transdermal absorption. It has an adequate concentration of fentanyl. It occludes the absorption site, and it has a carrier to make the lipids in the skin more permeable. And patches maintain contact long enough to maintain the skin permeable. Alcohol-based carriers don't make the lipids in the skin instantly permeable. It takes time. And patches typically take hours to deliver only small doses. And this is why it is not possible to suffer from fentanyl toxicity simply from touching it. If it was possible, users would just rub it on their skin instead of destroying their veins.